Hi, this is Matt Devine with Design Point Solutions. In this video, I will show you how to set up and deploy an administrative image installation for SolidWorks. So to set this up, the first thing I'm going to do is actually browse to my downloaded installation folder. If you have the DVD and you want to use that to create the admin image, that's fine. Just go ahead and install that, but browse to your install files. And I'm just going to launch the setup.exe. In this case, I'm going to my SolidWorks 2012 Service Pack 2. So to start the admin image, we'll just double click on the setup. It'll launch the installation manager. On the first screen here, just select the option for administrative image. And then we're going to choose, in this case, create a new image using default settings. This second option here is only for if you already have an existing image and you just want to upgrade SolidWorks. And then you have to decide if you have 32-bit and 64-bit machines. And if you do, we'll click this box here and it'll create both the 32 and 64-bit image. So after I'm going to select that, I'll hit next. Then it's going to ask you to put in your serial number. So what you want to do here is put in as many serial numbers as you have. So in this case, we have SolidWorks Standard, I have Simulation, and a Flow Simulation. If you have licenses for these other two, you want to put those in now. And we'll hit next. So it's just going to do is connect to SolidWorks, check the serial numbers, make sure they're all okay and up on the subscription service. So once that's complete, you'll get to your summary page like we normally see with an installation, where you have your products to select, your download options, and your image location. So I'm just going to look under products here and make sure that everything is set up correctly. It looks like we do have most of everything we need, although I am going to go under SolidWorks Explorer Workgroup PDM and turn on the Vault Admin tool. In case we decide to install Workgroup PDM, we want to install or have the option to install the Vault Admin tool. So after that, we'll go back to the summary. Then from here, I'm just going to keep in mind that the new image location is on my C drive, SolidWorks Admin, SolidWorks 2012 Service Pack 2. So you can see down here the estimated image size is 12 gigabytes and the estimated download size is only 24. And this is because I already have most of the files downloaded. So I'm just going to hit download and create image. So the download operation here didn't take very long because I already had most of it downloaded. To save time, I actually already pre-created an admin image, so I'm just going to let this run through a few seconds just to see the process, and then we'll cancel it out and go back to the admin image that I already created. So on this first one, part 1, it's going to create the 64-bit admin image. Once this process completes, it's going to go ahead and create the 32-bit admin image. So just for time's sake, let me go ahead and cancel this. Okay, so from here now we need to browse to that C drive, and then it was in the SolidWorks admin folder. You can see the SolidWorks 2012 Service Pack 2, so this is the one that I had pre-created. And then you'll see two folders. You'll see the 32-bit and the 64-bit installations, along with an option editor and the SW install HTA file. So the option editor is what we're going to use before we deploy this installation to set up most of our options for the installs. Then the HTA file is what we'll actually deploy or send out to the users so that they can install with SolidWorks. So I'm just going to double click on this admin image option editor. I just get a screen resolution message here. Just bypass that. So this is what your admin image option editor looks like. You can see from the left-hand side over here, it just has a global settings, and we have the choices between the 32 and the 64-bit installations. At this point, all the options should be the defaults, so I'm just going to deploy this with the 64-bit installation. If you have 32-bit machines, you have to come over here and set up these settings. So we're going to go over to 64. Now we have a few buttons up here for new group and new machine. What you can do is actually set this up for machine specific installations. Or if I don't set anything up, it's just going to use all the global settings. So if the machine tries to install and it doesn't recognize the computer name from this list, it's just going to go off of the global settings. So to start setting up machines, what I'm going to do is add a new group for the engineering department and another group for the drafting department. So we'll set up new group. Group name here will be engineering. Click back on global settings and I'll make another group called drafting. Alright, so from here we'll click on the drafting computers and I'll hit this new machine. And we'll just name this drafting machine 1. Do the same thing again. Drafting machine 2. And I'll also go down to engineering and do the same thing. Engineer machine 1. And engineer machine 2. Okay, so now that that's set up, what we'll take a look at is our global settings. And to change settings, you can use this little edit settings button. Looks like a little pencil. So I'll grab that. And then from here, we have the different serial numbers. So for the global settings, I'm going to let everything to default, but I'm just going to change it between the departments. So we'll go here to drafting. Now, in our case, drafting does not need simulation, and they do not need flow simulation, so we'll turn those two licenses off. And then we'll scroll down through the rest of this. We do want to upgrade an existing major version or create a new major version. So we do want to create a new major version. In this case, we'll say it's a brand new install. Anytime you make a change that's different from the global settings, you'll see it shows up here in yellow. So we'll just keep scrolling down. If you have a company standard settings file, maybe for your file locations, you can save that out beforehand and then use that copy settings wizard file to export or import your new settings into SolidWorks 2012 or whichever your new installation is. You can activate your clients with an automatic over the internet. I'm going to set that to do not activate for now because I'm going to reset the global setting to choose this activation. Then we can come down here for creating a diagnostic log during each installation. You don't typically need this unless you run into install problems. Then we can turn that on and try to install again, and it'll give tech support nice logs to take a look at. So just take a look down through these options, and then we have the products to install down at the bottom. So again, we do not need flow simulation, Cosmos M, simulation, or motion for the drafting department. And then down at the very bottom is your toolbox and hole wizard options. Right now it's set to the default C drive SolidWorks data folder. That means it's going to install a new toolbox. So we'll come back to the global settings. We're going to leave all these standard. We're going to set this here to create a new major version. And then we want to activate automatically when each client installation completes. To automatically activate with an email address, click here on New. It's going to ask you for your email, so you just type that out, hit OK. Now it's going to save out an XML file with that information, and it's going to use that to automatically activate after the install. So this is useful if you don't want your users to have to go through that process. And we'll come back down. Everything else looks good for the globals. So again, we'll take a look at the drafting side. You can see these two serial number boxes here turn yellow because they are different from the defaults. And then for the engineering machines, we want those to have everything, so we're not going to make many changes to that. We can just take a look down through here. You can see